Hello again, grade 1. Today we are going to continue lesson number 2. How does the sky seem to change? And this is our last lesson, so have fun. Do you remember when we said that the earth turns around itself? And that's why sometimes our part of earth is facing the sun, while the other part of earth is facing away. And while we have morning, in America they have night. When the earth turns away from the sun, it's gonna be nighttime. And while in the nighttime, there is another object in the sky moving around earth. Do you know what object moves around earth? It's her friend, the moon. The moon is the follower of our planet Earth. There are so many planets in the sky, and some of them have even more than one moon. Earth has one moon, and the moon is a ball of rock that does not make its own light, but it reflects the sunlight that falls on the moon. So, sometimes you can see the moon shiny, and sometimes you can see only half of the moon. Where did the other half go? Let's listen to these ayat and then I'm gonna tell.
سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون.
صدق الله العظيم. Now after we listened, let's observe this picture. In Quran, Allah said, وَالْقَمَرَ قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلَ حَتَّى عَادَ كَالْعُرْجُونِ الْقَدِيمِ. Al-Urjun, like this, a very small part of the moon. We cannot see all the other part of the moon. Where did it go? It's in the dark, because the moon does not make its own light. It only reflects the sunlight that falls on it. So when there is no sunlight falling on the moon, we cannot see any part of the moon. I can't see the moon in the sky, no matter how hard I look. Why? Because this moon is in the beginning of the month, and because the sunlight is not falling on it. When there is no sunlight falling on the moon, how can the moon give us light? It only reflects the light that's coming from the sun. So this, we call it a new moon. It comes in the beginning of the month. After that, we have so many shapes or so many phases of the moon. We're going to take 4 of them. This is the first one, the new moon. After 7 or 8 days pass, we're going to meet a new shape of the moon. We call this shape the first quarter. Why I call it a quarter? Because this comes after the quarter of the month passes. Not because it looks like a quarter. Because the quarter does not look like this. I'm gonna tell you what it looks like. Now here, after 15 days, you're gonna meet this shape. Beautiful full moon. After the full moon, the moon is gonna start getting smaller. When it starts getting smaller and smaller until you meet this shape that we call a third quarter of the moon. Then it's gonna get smaller and smaller until it disappears again. And we cannot see the moon because we're gonna start a new month. When we start a new month, you're gonna see that the moon is gonna grow again. until its first quarter. Then in the middle of the month, it's full moon. Then about the end of the month, it's third quarter. So these, we call them the phases of the moon. Here I want to explain for you why they call the first quarter and the third quarter these names, although they look like a half. They look like this shape, half. We know what is half. But why are they calling it a quarter? Because they don't mean that this moon looks like a quarter. They mean that this moon comes after the quarter of the month is finished. When you have 30 days in the month, how many is the quarter of the month? After 7 days. So when there is 7 days finished from the month, you're gonna see this shape of the moon. It looks like half a circle, but does not mean that it's a quarter of a circle. It's only the quarter of the time that this moon is living with us. After this moon, we're gonna meet a new moon for the new month. Okay? Just a phase. Now, it is night. You may see stars and you may see the moon. Also clouds. The moon is a huge ball of rock, and it does not give its own light. But the moon reflects the light coming from the sun. The moon moves across the sky. That's why we can see different shapes of the moon each time we look in the night. These shapes seem to change every time because they change as the moon is moving in the sky. The phases are like shapes of the moon that you can observe from Earth. When you look up to the moon, you still know it is a sphere. It's still a ball of rock. But why I cannot see it from Earth? Because the sunlight is falling on a different angle. Sometimes it's falling on one half of the moon, and the other half does not have any light falling on it. That's why I can't see it from Earth. So the changes follow a repeating pattern, which means each month I'm gonna see the same shapes of my moon. First of things, I'm gonna see the first quarter. Then it's gonna grow into a full moon. Then it's gonna grow back smaller into a third quarter. And then it's gonna disappear. I cannot see it anymore in the sky. We can call it at this time a new moon. After the new moon, a first quarter. After the first quarter, another full moon. And then a third quarter. And then a new moon again. Every time it's gonna repeat and repeat. Each month it's gonna repeat and repeat. It's lasts about a month. Today there is a full moon, they say. After 1 month, what another phase we're gonna see? After 1 month, well, if today is a full moon, it needs 1 more month to go again to the full moon. What the moon's phase will be? In about a month, it will be a full moon again, because it needs 1 month to finish all the phases and go back again to where it started. Do you remember when I said that we need a telescope to look on the stars that are far away in the sky? Sometimes you can see a group of stars, but after a few months, if you check again, you cannot see the same group anymore. And I will tell you why. Because the Earth and all the other planets are moving around the sun. What? You told me that the Earth moves around itself. Yeah, I know I told you that. And I'm not taking it back. I'm adding a new information. I'm saying that Earth does not only move around itself, it also moves around the sun. And while the Earth moves around the sun, it's going in places. The first place, it's maybe closer to the sun. That's why it's hot a little bit. For 3 months it's gonna be hot, like summertime. And after that, it's gonna finish the hot place closer to the sun and going further away from the sun, When it goes further away from the sun, it's going to cooler, and when it is cooler, maybe it's autumn time, fall season. So this is the fall season. After that, the earth continue a full circle, and it goes to the winter, away from the sun. And when it go away from the sun and it's winter season, do you think that we on the earth can see the same stars that we saw here? No, here we saw a few stars that are in this area of space. But when we move away to the other side of the sun, we see another group of stars which are different. That's why sometimes you see a group of stars, after a few months you cannot see it anymore. You may see these stars in summer. In summer season you can see them because they are in an area of the space which you can observe from Earth in the summertime. But when you are in the winter season, you may see these stars. Why? Because Earth is not at the same place of space anymore. It moves around the sun. It continues a full circle. Cloudy day, starry night. You can see stars in the nighttime sky. Stars give off light. Yes, not like the moon. The moon cannot give its own light. But the stars, like the sun, give their own light. Do you see different stars in each season? Now you can see also clouds in both daytime and nighttime sky. Clouds change. They never have one shape. Are always changing their shape. When you see these clouds, do you think it's gonna rain? No, I think it's sunny and clear day. It's not going to rain anytime soon. But when I see these clouds, I know it's going to rain soon. Why? Because they are dark. They are heavy and holding so much water. It's going to rain. I'm sorry I put so many pictures. I loved all of them. I couldn't choose which one to put for you. So, these kinds of clouds bring rain because they are dark. And these kinds of clouds can be seen on a sunny day. You draw a cloud that might bring rain. I draw for you one, a dark cloud. Now here, write the word to solve the riddle. I am fluffy or thin. I am white or gray. I come out on some days and then go away. I am a cloud. Excellent job. Now draw the boy's shadow. In the morning. In the morning, the sun is low in the sky. It's not high above his head. It's low. And that's why the shadow is gonna be long. While if the sun was in the noon over his head, the shadow is gonna be small here. So I want you to draw a shadow. Here, I draw for you an example. Very long shadow. Mark it. Cross out the picture of the full moon. Cross it out means put an X on it. Put a box around the picture of the new moon. The full moon is the shiny moon that you can find in the middle of the month. This is the full moon. Put X on it. What is the new moon? The new moon means there is a new month is going to begin. And that's in the beginning of the month and you cannot see a moon. So this is the new moon. It's very dark.